So that's done. All right. So Jason, I'm going to hand it over to you in just a second. You know, when I say go, give it like 5 seconds because it takes a while for it to let people in. Yeah.
Yep. I will for sure. I'll just start welcoming.
All right. Where is my? Here it is. Okay. I'm going to hit admit all in 3, 2, 1, go.
All right, welcome on everybody. As you're getting in here, we're gonna welcome you all on in just one moment here.
Hey, Jason. Hey, Mike.
So guys, what we're here to do today, before everybody jumps out, we're going to be talking about attraction marketing and how to be bringing in the kind of people to your business that you want to be in business with, and the kind that inspire you. And that's what the entire subject of today is. So as we're going to jump in, it makes business easier. It makes the Ethereum flow all directions even more. And so as we're doing that, we'd love to hear from all of you. Your name, where you're zooming in from.
Gary Wall, South Carolina.
Gary, welcome on. Who else?
Gary.
Phyllis Brown of Yardley, Pennsylvania.
Welcome.
Susan Watts, South Carolina.
Hey, guys.
Lee Elliott, Corpus Christi, Texas.
Florida.
Welcome.
Florida.
Louisiana.
Utah.
DC, Canada.
Alex from Oregon.
Indiana.
Love it.
Here we go.
I love it.
Catherine from Rio Vista, California.
George
Karen
Christian,
Schuler, South Carolina.
Welcome,
That's
welcome.
Knapp, South Carolina.
Sally Derek from Dubai. Sally Derek from Dubai.
Who else out there?
Louisiana.
California.
Welcome. Welcome on, everybody. 10 seconds. Last call. Okay. Let's do this.
All right.
Let's start it.
All right. So here's what we're going to do, everybody. This is super cool. So what I'm going to do is a real quick frame of attraction marketing, because to me, that's a word that's just a part of building network marketing, but that is not at all a part of the normal, that's like saying compensation plan or MLM or upline and downline and attraction marketing. Now, to many people, those aren't all in the same category. I came to this industry to do attraction marketing in 2006, and I stumbled around for a little bit, and I was super blessed that in early 2009, I realized I wasn't the only guy trying to do attraction marketing. And I realized there were some people far ahead of me, great thought leaders and people that I credit to having invented the term attraction marketing. And we're here with one of them today. I'm about to hand it over to this person. And what I will share is that when that happened with me, it was a relief, because I was bucking the network marketing industry. I was the guy wanting to build through the internet to attract highly pre-qualified business builders into me. And I never heard things like, is this a pyramid scam? They were all weeded out by the system. They weren't attracted into me ever. And so when I say I don't hear people ask if it's a pyramid scam, I'm not joking. I hear it about once every 2 to 4 years. For 15 years, that's a fact. So that's what you're able to do with this. Now, I'm about to bring on one of now Mike is a very humble guy. And so I just want to tell you that there are like 3 people that founded this in the entire industry. Mike is absolutely one of them. And when I started learning from his stuff in early 2009, it was like all the pieces I was missing, trying to figure it out on my own. And he put together systems and processes, and all I just applied the stuff he's sharing. And even if it meant, you want me to post this on Facebook, even though weren't really doing Facebook back then, but that's a question I see people struggling with. And I'm planting some seeds here that you're going to see uncovered today. And so Mike is a master of attraction marketing. And I just, I realize I've been sharing this in some audios within some of the groups that I want you to pay really close attention. there are things that Mike does completely unconsciously competent, which is like, he just does them and he's like, this is just what we do. And I've realized there's even parts that I get into that, but Mike is a master of stepping back and like, here is what that is. Here's why this post worked and this post, and we're going to interview some of those people today as well. And so without further, I think I don't know what else I can hit on besides this is where you take notes. You are learning from decades of experience here from one of the people that literally founded the term attraction marketing. Let me say this. Your ability to build network marketing through the power of the internet, it literally was that path was founded by Mike Klingler and a couple other people. And so plug in, pay attention. Mike, jump out there. And I'm so grateful. I know I speak for everybody, super grateful to be here and ready to soak it all in.
Thanks, Jason. Yeah, I think back to what was it, 2007 or 8 that our paths crossed. I met Jason by seeing all the referrals he was sending into an affiliate program that I had that taught attraction marketing. That was the first time I saw his name. You and Mark Hoverson. That was how I met Mark Hoverson as well. Those that don't know Mark, he's also an industry giant. But Jason, I followed his career because, we were teaching attraction marketing in there. He ran with it right away. And I noticed him from the results he was getting right away. And then he just took off with it and his career just flourished forever afterwards. And that's why we stayed in touch. But thanks, Jason. Thanks everybody for being here, because this skill can help you impact so many people in so many different ways. It is indescribable. And I've seen Jason do that, for example, over the years. The number of people he's impacted is staggering. And Mark Hoverson, another one, he came through our program. I don't know if you knew that, Jason, but he came through that program, the same thing. And then, he went on to just build an incredible career that impacted so many people's lives. What you take from this is more than just getting to build Forsage. What you take from this is a permanent awareness of how to attract anybody to anything you want to promote. It starts here, and we'll start basic, but you can take it as far as you want to go. You'll never wonder how to do marketing again. It is really, really simple too. And that's the other thing I want to speak to, guys. Jason kind of set it up where, hey, pay attention, get your pen and paper out, which you should do. But it makes it intimidating sometimes when we talk about that, because you think, wow, I'm never going to be able to catch up decades of experience, right? But the reality is, I've been doing this for so long, it's ridiculous, 15 years, and not just doing it, but teaching it. So what I'm doing is I'm consolidating it all down to these simple things. You don't need to learn everything I learned. You don't need to know everything we know. You just need to apply the simplest, easiest to implement methods, because I know what those are, because I've been doing it for so long. So don't be intimidated by the years of experience. Realize that it means that what I'm giving you is evaporated. All the stuff you don't need, down to what actually gets results, and trust that experience. And don't be intimidated and think you can't do it, because the point is, I've made this so you can. So let's just kind of look at a couple of things here and get into the training side of this. I got to share my screen here, guys. 1 second. So, as we look at this stuff, this is the Cash Injection Team Builder group where I've been sharing all of this. And I really hope you guys immerse yourself in this. It doesn't take long to absorb. It doesn't take long to implement at all. So first, let's look at what Jeremy wrote, because I think this says it all. He goes, some of the early easy signups are people I already knew and just had not had the time to reach out to yet, which is awesome. He's referring to when he was applying, these strategies that we're teaching. He goes, but it is really cool to see new people I had never met coming in through the post boosts and asking, how do I get started? I thought it would take longer for that to happen. And we'll hear from Jeremy a little bit later today. You know, he shared another post recently in here that, you know, 2 signups he had that were super easy. One of them signed up with no questions and then signed up into his primary program, My Daily Choice. I know you're not all in that, but it doesn't just stop at Forsage. The power you gain from attraction marketing lives on forever. I have people that purchased from me today that got on my list 15 years ago. It just changes everything, guys. Let me just, before we dig in here, if I built this the way, if I approach this the way most of you are who struggle with this, I would be struggling too. And what I mean by that is if you're not attracting, if you're not really in touch with the messaging you're putting out and who that attracts back, your job is immensely harder. Like I wouldn't be able to sell and convince and persuade the way a lot of you are stuck having to do. If I was in your shoes, I would be like, this is too hard. What I'm teaching you is how to make this easy on the front end, at the beginning, where your messaging is. And so that's what this is all about. And it changes everything. It changes absolutely everything. All of you can be giants in the marketing field when you understand the simple part of this. I want to make another point. A lot of people think you have to do video. I did this for years with 0 video. I was sharing this with Jason the other day, and he was like, yeah, I noticed that. You know, most of my peers who were, you know, multiple 7-figure earners years and years ago, they all did video. And I was like, I don't like video. Like I get self-conscious. I can't think, you know, the same way for whatever reason. Ever since I was a kid, I didn't like the camera. Ever you see me in pictures and like my mom's trying to take a picture and I'm like, when's it over? You know, it's just the way I am. And so I hated video. And so I just didn't do it. And guess what? I didn't have to. And so those of you who don't like video, you don't have to do video. Understand it can up your game if you like it, or if you can grow to get used to it. I've started to incorporate it in, and I don't have any issues with it anymore because you get used to what you do, right? But just know for years, when everybody else was doing video, because it, you know, is kind of a shortcut in some ways, if you're good at it or if you can get good at it, I didn't do it. I resisted it, and I still was right there earning what they were earning, what the top people in the industry were earning, because it really isn't about that. It's about the message. And when I did webinars, you would only see my screen, and you'll still see me do this a lot going forward. You'll just see my screen. I'll be showing, because it's the message. And it's not about you being an expert yet. You'll get to leverage our content, what you see us posting, what you see us talking about. And that's what this is all about. Let me go real quick. I'm going to go to my profile. And if I can find my profile and just show you what I mean. So this one's actually a more advanced one, but I do want to come to that, and still easy. So check this one out. Now, if you're not an expert yet, you may not know to post something like this. So you just go to my page or anybody's page you see who's very successful at this, and you borrow from us. You don't need to be the expert. You can borrow our expertise and our content. You just want to be sure to rewrite it in your voice. And that doesn't mean like a major makeover either. It can be if you want it to be, but if that's challenging for you, it just means changing the wording enough so it's kind of how you would say it. And so let's look at this one. It says, for those first of all, when I read this, I want you to think to yourself or ask yourself, why does this help attract the right kinds of people? When I read this to you, ask yourself, why would this help Mike make sure that the people who, when he does promote, because there is a time to promote, I don't have to do it very often, but there is a time to promote. We'll talk about that. When I do promote, why do I get such a response? And why are they such great prospects that are already, many of them self-motivated, already invested into personal development, already take personal responsibility for their success, already are interested in opportunities, already know crypto's the thing, already know they want in, already know it's not cool to complain, already know it's not cool to blame. Why is it that I attract such good prospects? Well, when I read this, ask that question and see if you can kind of see why. So I post, for those building teams in your business, instead of trying to hang on to people who complain whine, blame, or get distracted by shiny objects and far too many new opportunities, put your focus on putting out a different message to attract a new caliber of person to your team. It's easier, a lot more fun, and will make you and your team a lot more money. Sound familiar? Does this message sound familiar, right? The other thing about this is you're going to realize there's not that much to say. When you're saying the right thing, when you're aligned with the truth of it all, there's not that much different stuff to say. It doesn't take long to figure all this out once you're in alignment with what works. So this message is at the core of it, isn't it? It's at the core of what we're talking about today. It's at the core of what I talk about all the time in different ways. And it's at the core of what one of the messages that you should be putting out if you want to attract people who don't complain, don't whine, don't blame, take personal responsibility for their success. Are you talking about that would be my question to you. Do you ever post about that? Do you post about it regularly? Do you say it in different ways? Do you demonstrate it? Do you hold people accountable to it? Because if not, no marketing funnel, nothing that we say or do is going to help. You have to become the message. If you complain, whine, blame, or get distracted by shiny objects and far too many opportunities, posting this on your page isn't going to help you attract really good prospects. So this is a very simple, classic, universal message that you want to engrave into your brain and share and embody and demonstrate if you want to become a powerhouse marketer, or at the very least, if at an extreme part-time basis, have it be easy to attract great people to whatever you want to promote. And you can rewrite that, you can say it in 1,000 different ways, but it's the same thing. And if you embody it, that's when you become a master. I am not dynamic, guys. I'm not a dynamic speaker. When I was really successful, making multiple, 12, 15 million a year, because that was my goal, I would get invited to speak at events and it was not exciting. I am not a dynamic speaker. It's not what I do. It's not who I am. That's not why I'm successful. I'm not successful because I'm great on video. I'm not successful because I do Facebook Lives. So if you don't feel comfortable doing them, guess what? You don't have to. It can up your game if you want to, but you don't have to. I'm successful because I embody this message and the other messages that you see me share. If you do the same thing and you share who you are, which is somebody who doesn't complain, whine, blame, or get distracted by shiny objects and new opportunities, focuses on one, builds a team, all these things that you see us doing, you will be very attractive to very strong marketers. But this is just one message: responsibility, personal responsibility for one's success, and an understanding of following through and focusing. That's a common theme that you're going to see me post all the time. You get to post all the time. You want to do it if you want to attract quality people. The other message is around the financial side. So, because right now, the opportunities around crypto, right? So doesn't it make sense that you're going to want to talk about those topics if you want to attract people that are drawn to that? This isn't rocket science. And if you don't know what to say, you just go look at Jason's page or my page or someone's page that you look up to that's doing this, and you just model what they're doing. You don't even have to create this stuff. You get to leverage our content, our experience, our expertise, and you just rewrite it in your own voice. And so this one says, is the banking system planning to dump the dollar and replace it with their own crypto? If so, will you be prepared? And I go on and say a few things about it. I get into a really weird conversation with a prospect. This is going to happen all the time. I have to block people all the time, guys. This is really important. This person wasn't annoying or anything, so I didn't block them. It wouldn't make sense to, although they're not a great prospect. I don't see them as a prospect. And we need to talk about this for a second, because this is really important. If you engage too much with the wrong people, if somebody is overly annoying or whatever, don't feel bad about just blocking them. This is your business page. This is attraction marketing. You need to attract and connect and communicate with the right people. Otherwise, Facebook's AIs are going to bring you more of the wrong people. So be really careful. Like, I had a boosted post ad and someone the other day commented, why did you waste money promoting, marketing this? And I did I did break my own rule and write him saying, well, I didn't try to attract you. And I blocked them, and I literally blocked him and banned him, not because I don't like him. I don't know. He's probably a great guy. You know, if he invites you over for dinner, the family knows him. Maybe he's like my, you know, my uncle Bud, you know, but he's a lovable guy. But I don't want him on my page, because if he keeps engaging, Facebook's going to think that's who to send me more of. That's how it works. And so I have to get rid of him. And so if if they're showing signs that they're not an ideal prospect, you really don't want to engage. Now, sometimes I break the rule, but I'm very mindful. I'll show you where I broke the rule. And that's right here. Janet writes, so I wrote this thing about crypto, you know, probably being something the central banking system's looking at to replace the dying dollar, right? And I wrote more about it. We don't have to see that right now, but she comes in and writes, there will be a reset of the dollar backed by gold and precious metals. Not sure how crypto comes into that. So this is what we call a gold bug, they're called. They believe that gold and precious metals will ultimately win out as money. And I think that's pretty much been proven untrue at this point, but they're still out there, probably because they invested a lot into gold and precious metals. So I'm not going to mess with their money by messing with her too much. So I didn't get in an argument with her. Now notice that. You don't argue with people. But what I basically went to was, I asked her, kind of went back and forth, and I wasn't arguing. I was just trying to understand their point of view to see if they could be a prospect, or see if the conversation. Here's why I did engage with this person, even though I know they're probably not a prospect right now. I knew that the conversation would be attractive to prospects. And that's why I didn't argue, because that makes me look stupid. And that's why I got to say, guys, even when you want to argue, don't, because it makes you look bad. Don't ever argue. Don't ever be overly aggressive with your point of view, because that doesn't, what's that do? If you do that, you attract other people that are overly aggressive with their view. You're going to have a very messy organization. You're going to have a team that's always fighting. So be cool. So you attract cool people. Whenever I have people creating a bunch of drama in the group, you probably notice I just X them. They're gone. Why? I don't want more of it. I might love them. They might be a wonderful person to hang out with. I don't want them in my community, because I understand that's going to significantly reduce what everybody can earn and accomplish, what they can demonstrate to their children of what's possible. It's important. It's precious. And so when it comes to business and the community, you X drama and you never demonstrate aggressive opinions that are negative towards people. You might ban them, but you don't demonstrate that, or you'll attract people like that, and you'll have a messy team that doesn't know how to collaborate, doesn't know how to communicate, and there's a lot of drama. But so I didn't push back or whatever. I just simply asked, and I'm looking for where I asked it. I said, crypto aside, I said, let's, you know, obviously I see you don't think crypto is valuable. I was asking, what are they going to buy the gold with? Like, she was saying they're going to replace the dollar backed by gold. And I'm like, where are they going to buy the gold? And I was just wanting the answer, because I knew. So I engaged with somebody who maybe wasn't a good prospect, showed respect for their different opinion, because they weren't disrespectful, and didn't ban them, even though they're not a prospect, because the conversation was still collaborative and respectful. And I knew the conversation would be attractive to other prospects. So you don't always ban somebody just because they disagree. Now, if you don't know what to post, you post what you see me or other leaders posting. So this is around the financial side. The first one was about personal responsibility, right? The second one's around the financial side in crypto, because that's what we're leading with, not rocket science. Now, what's the other message about? Marketing. So check it out. We've got constant theme around and posts around just a few things said in different ways. One of them's around personal responsibility and building of teams and how to do that. Good prospects, right? If they're into that kind of thing. They're into building teams and doing it in an empowered way. Second theme is about financial stuff, crypto specific. Third thing is about marketing. So in this, I just changed the title of my page or my profile, Market Like a Pro, even if you're not even close to being one yet. Guys, you can model this because you're with our team that helps them do that. Here's another one. Let's see what this theme is. I bet a lot of you have used systems before, had tons of leads, but having a bunch of email addresses ain't worth squat. What I'm setting you up with and showing you how to do is attract out results from all those leads generated via funnel. Marketing theme. People drawn to this are interested in marketing. Do you think it's helpful to attract prospects who are already into crypto and opportunities, who take personal responsibility for their success and are kind of into team building and want to learn about marketing? So when I do promote and somebody goes, I'm interested, do you see how that's going to be a very different conversation than if you're posting about kittens and what you had for dinner and you're complaining about politics or your bad day and you're getting all this emotional support, and then you decide you want to make some money with an opportunity and you post something and people say, I'm interested. Do you see why it would be a different conversation? You can change it at any time, guys. You change the conversation within weeks. Facebook's AI starts putting your content in front of a different group of people. When these people are engaging with these posts, it tells Facebook to share my posts with people who aren't on my page yet, who have similar interests. You get to leverage Facebook's infrastructure, a billion-dollar, multi-billion-dollar infrastructure, in order to grow your business. Smart, simple, easy. But Mike, I don't want to. My Aunt Betty's not going to understand why I'm posting about these things. She doesn't know me as a successful person who talks about this kind of stuff. Who cares? You can talk to Aunt Betty at the family reunion. If you really care about it, call her up and explain it to her. Aunt Betty, I'm moving on in my life. I think the central banking system's screwing up the dollar, and I'm going to go down the path of crypto. And I know I don't talk like this usually, but I'm a changed person. I'm a successful entrepreneur. You're going to see my page get a little weird. Guys, you can't worry about Aunt Betty and your old high school friends if you want to be successful. You just can't. I don't make the rules. I'm just letting you know. You can't care about people who don't care about these kinds of things for your business. You care about them in your personal life. But if you want the big money, I don't know what your goals are, guys. For me, at least a couple million this year. For you, maybe it's 100,000, 50,000. I don't know what it is, but the crypto train is leaving the station. I don't know how many more opportunities there will be anything close to this in our lifetime. If you see the possibility of that, and if you see you've missed lots of opportunities before, and you don't want to miss this one, it might be time to put aside Aunt Betty and your high school friends for Facebook. Focus on your message you want to attract people with. Connect with the people you love and care about another way. Take advantage of the crypto opportunity, catch the train, and then go visit Aunt Betty and your high school friends with a completely new state of mind and the lifestyle that you've chosen instead of always dreaming to have it. You've got to make these kinds of changes, guys, or nothing's going to change. It's just the way it is. Let's look at which theme this one falls under. One of the biggest reasons I've been so successful over the years is because I use messaging and lead capture pages that appeal to marketers. Marketing. But you're like, but Mike, how can I say that? You just reword it. I've seen the community doing it. Study how the rest of the community is doing it. You guys should create little support groups to see how that share with each other. Hey, did you see that post Mike just made? Did you see that post Jason just made? You see that post so-and-so, whoever's doing this, that does this well in your group. You see that post they just made? Can I have a group and share how you rewrote it to give each other ideas? Guys, it's not that hard once you get into the flow of it. But you could write this as I'm with a team that has been using attraction marketing to attract the ideal leads to them. Here's an example of a page they put together. It's really cool, the kind of resources that they provide. There's a million ways you could do it. That's the marketing theme. Let's see if there's another one here. How do you grow your team to make more ETH? Obviously, this speaking specifically to people that are riding that bandwagon of opportunities and crypto, right? This is really niche. And of course, a lot of the people that like it and stuff will be in our community, and that's cool. You want to do that too, because you're telling, like when I like someone else's post like this, I'm telling Facebook I like that kind of content. It helps the algorithms work in your favor. But among the community who's liking this, are going to be a few people here and there over and over again and growing that are outside the community, because that's how Facebook's algorithms work. When you engage with certain types of content like this on other people's pages, when you start posting this kind of stuff and people engage with it, Facebook starts to recognize what you're all about. And they start to recognize what kinds of people to put your content and posts in front of. If you don't make this transition, Facebook will keep putting your posts in front of the wrong people. If you make this transition, Facebook will start putting your posts in front of the right people. Guys, I'm not doing anything that's rocket science. I'm not doing anything that requires, exceptional communication skills or anything else. And the fact that you get to piggyback off of my and other leaders' content and just rewrite it and understand this and be told this and just do it is pretty phenomenal. Like, you don't even have to have the experience to know to talk about these things. You just see these posts and rewrite them, and then you instantly get on that train. And you're instantly leveraging Facebook's AI the right way and attracting the right people to you. Give it a few weeks, and there's something else you want to do, Facebook boost posts, to really speed it up. But this is simple, guys. This is really, really simple. One more, and then I'll move on to the promotional side. This says, when you do poorly or see that you missed a big opportunity because of inaction or lack of follow through, or if someone or something let you down and it cost you, here's what I do. I learn from it. So again, this is about personal responsibility, right? And it's talking to people who've clearly tried opportunities and tried to succeed, probably tried team building and met with challenge, but it's about personal responsibility, personal development. And, very similar to a previous, theme I shared with you. Again, you don't even have to make this stuff up. You just look at what we're putting out there and just adjust it. You'll finally get into the groove and start creating your own stuff. Now let's talk about when you promote. So we created this image for you. You guys can all download it and use it to promote. It's one example of a promotional post. You'll see I don't promote that much because you don't have to. I'm constantly drawing people in, and then I promote from time to time. And if you go look at my page, you see how infrequently I actually promote. It's amazing because I have like 200 people in my messenger who are saying, can you send me more information? I'm interested. I have so many, I can't even follow up with them all because of the strategy. The first 45 days, obviously for you to get to the point where you're overwhelmed with interest like I am, you've got to do this a while. But as Jeremy has shown, and a bunch of people from the community have shown, you do this even just a few weeks and everything starts to change, and you start to get people coming to you who are good prospects. The first 45 days of our launch, our team has seen. So you could have said the same thing, guys, when you saw this post. You could say, you just change it a little bit. Like in the first, month and a half of getting started, our team has seen over 8,000 Ethereum. Like you just rewrite it a little bit, and you could download this image. And I know a lot of people doing this. Like you can see, I haven't had time to follow up with him yet. I'm interested. Info, please. Let's go see. Let's go see how many people. I haven't had time. I just like let it build up too, because I have so many. I have so much interest. I don't even pay attention. Just messaged you. I haven't followed up yet. I got hundreds of these, probably way more than 200. I haven't followed up with any of these. Info, please. Info, please. I'm interested. Info, please. Info. And there's a whole bunch more in the private message. So it works for sure. Let's go talk about the boost post real quick.
Mike, let me add something real quick.
Yeah, go ahead, Jason.
So there's a bunch of people. Well, what if I have another business and it's all customers? Or what if I have a corporation that they're going to fire me if they see me posting things? So I'll tell you what one of the top earners right now, they make 7 figures a month. I'll tell you exactly what they did about 4 or 5 years ago. They were making nothing. And right now, maybe this was 6 or 7 years. Today, they're one of the top earners in the entire world between number 1 and 3. 7 figures a month in network marketing. They started a brand new Facebook profile because they looked at all their friends and family, their high school friends, their friends from the military, and everybody was deadbeats as far as business and entrepreneurship minded goes. And she started a brand new page. Now, be careful. It is against Facebook terms of service. So do it at your own risk, figure it out, do whatever you need to do. But I can tell you that she started from scratch. She started fresh. She only started connecting with people that she wanted to be in business with, not Uncle Charlie that's ripped on your MLM ventures your whole life, not your spouse that's made fun of you, whoever it is. Like she didn't connect with them. She started from scratch. I will share one last piece. Facebook fan pages do not get the reach as personal pages, period. Facebook groups get more reach than everything does, period. That's what Facebook is going to. It's been transitioning for 2 years. They've publicly stated they're going harder into groups. So you're going to hear more about that. But I'm planting this because I don't think it's a wise solution to go start a fan page and think you're going to go live there. I've tried that and it doesn't get engagement. It's not treated the same. The purpose of a fan page is to run Facebook ads. And Mike, we'll talk more about that, but I just want to share a couple of those ideas.
Yeah, and if you set up a business page, you profile everything Jason said, absolutely correct. That's why you'll see me post basically the same thing on my profile and my business page. And even though I have over 100,000 people on my business page, I get almost no traction on my business page, almost none. And I get a lot of traction on my profile page because it gives you massively more exposure. So absolutely, if you have to set up a new profile, it is against Facebook's terms, but I know everybody does it. And if you're careful about it, the reason why they have that rule is they don't want you to have a fake account and you go and do bad things with it. You know what I mean? Like you scam people, or like I have people, there's somebody who for years has taken me and my kids' pictures and then and scams people. They pretend to be me. They set up a fake profile account and then they try to get money out of people, saying, like pretending to want a relationship with somebody. It's really sad. It's really, really sad. And like, building a relationship with somebody and then somebody will send them money so they can go visit or something, and it's been going on for years. There's really a lot of bad stuff people do with fake profile accounts. But if you use it properly and so forth, which all of you would, I don't think Facebook probably has an issue with it. I know a lot of people who've had them for years, like Jason talked about, and been really successful with them. I just want to say, if anybody's in a job, a corporate job, or what was the other reason why somebody might be afraid to post something on there?
They had like a different business and all their customers are on their main page. They're the people who already know you. Do it. No, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be really curious about that. Like for me, whenever I feel trapped like that, where I can't do what I want to do as a sovereign human being, I'll friggin' gnaw my leg off to get out of that bear trap if that's going to allow me to be free. So I don't, I'm not sure how to respond to that other than this, say, yeah, you can get a new profile. I would do whatever it takes to be sovereign, to be my own individual. So whatever it takes. I would say if you're in that situation, then I don't think I'd be thinking about much else every minute until I figured it out. Business page, you still want one, mainly for advertising, yes. But I will say when you do the boost post strategy, which again, I talk about in the cash injection group, real simple, and show you which ones I do. When you do those, you do start to get a lot more engagement. They start to become much friendlier with you when you do that. Now, I've just started doing them again. I wanted to be able to go through this. I think we're going to earmark some of this for another session where I wanted to go through like why this one was rejected. And it didn't matter. It was rejected because they don't like it, that it looks like a lead capture form. And it doesn't matter. You're going to run into stuff like that. It doesn't bother anything when they reject it. But I just want you to know that when you start the boosting of posts, which is really simple, you You make a post like you do in your profile, and then you just hit boost post right here. Now you do want to target your audience. And if you want to know how to do that, you go to YouTube. I learn almost everything at YouTube, and I just search, how do I target my audience when I'm boosting a post ad on Facebook? And you change that search term until you find a perfect video that shows you exactly what you click on to do it. But I share in the Cash Injection Facebook group how to do all of this. Like, it's extremely simple. It's just clicking this button, boost post, and other than just setting your audience, but I show you what audience I'm targeting. You can go to YouTube and it shows you how to set your audience. Very simple to do ads this way. Now, other kinds of Facebook ads can be much more complicated, but boosting a post ad is extremely simple. And I just want to say, you can do like less than $1 a day. And I will have another call on this stuff. Let's look at this one. So I got 51 likes and hearts, right? Because if I hadn't have boosted it, it probably would have gotten 1 or 2 likes. And it's actually finishes in 7 days. So this one's still running. This is that one that says when you do poorly, it's the same thing I just read on my profile, or you see that you missed a big opportunity. So this is speaking to those who are invested into personal growth, personal development, respond to inspiration. This is a certain theme, right? And so I'll go click on view results. And again, we'll have another webinar on this because I want to move forward and interview some people and talk about some other aspects of this that are really important foundationally. My computer's really slow. Let's see if this comes up. So this shows you the results that I get when it finally comes up. I'm not sure why it's not coming up. I'm going to hit refresh. What's going on? I think my computer's really bugging out. Here we go. So it says cost per engagement, 5 cents. That's actually really low. Let me go see who I'm advertising to. Okay, so this is going to be lower because here I'm advertising to people who already like my page. So sometimes you're boosting your posts. Most of the time, in fact, you're boosting your posts to people outside your page to bring people in. And that would be used, not always, but I heard some people in the community that are getting like 3 cents engagements, which is amazing. But sometimes you want to actually advertise to people who already follow you so you can further that relationship. You know, I'm not spending much. You could spend like $1 a day, but you definitely want to have that always running in the background, growing your audience, communicating to Facebook's algorithms, what kind of messaging and what kind of people that you're connecting with and that it's supposed to show your posts to. This should always just be automated, systematically running in the background. And this will spill over into your profile is the point. Now, I will say also, I do have 14 new messages. Like people are reaching out to me here too. It does work when you have the boosted posts going. I've got people reaching out to me, same thing, saying they want more information, they want to learn more. So it does work for very inexpensively, but you're right. If you're not boosting posts, it'll be a desert. You know, nothing's going to be happening. But if you're boosting posts for very inexpensively, it could be $1 a day. I think you could even set it up a little bit less. That's enough to get it working. And then, you know, then you're connecting with people and stuff here, and people do start following your profile too. And then they're going to, your best people, and then you're going to get more exposure. Now, a lot of you know we have a marketing funnel coming out. That marketing funnel is not going to be effective if you don't get this stuff, if you don't start doing this stuff. It's going to have leads coming through being in presentations, and your best prospects are going to check you out. And if they don't see stuff on your page that relates to them, your best prospect, you know, about marketing, about personal development, the stuff I just showed you, then they're not going to be interested in joining you, no matter how good the marketing funnel is. Some will, but we're talking 10 times less result, 10 times. And this is very easy to do, very, very easy to do. So again, all of this is discussed over here on the Cash Injection Team Builder. You want to start with the announcement post at the top and, you know, click see more. It tells you everything. And I even link into some of the key posts that talks about this, and study it. It doesn't take that long. It's extremely simple to begin modeling this. You get to take from the posts that we're doing, write them in your own way, put out content that attracts prospects that naturally will be interested in joining this opportunity, because the messaging you're putting out will attract those people, and the Facebook algorithms will be going to work for you to exponentially grow and compound the audience of people interested in those things. Guys, this is the way. This is the way, unless you want to chase prospects. Or I know some people on this call are master network marketers. Obviously, you don't need to do this if you're a master network marketer, which I know we have in the community. Those are people who mastered the chasing process to where they can now attract through relationships without even leveraging the internet. If you have that skill, obviously you don't have to do this, but learning the skill of, the old school relationship network marketing method of contacting people, learning that skill versus learning this skill, there's just no comparison in the speed at which you get to become effective. If you already have that skill, awesome. But if you don't, what I'm recommending is you at least have this working for you in the background so that you can start to have the automated results where people are coming to you saying, I'm interested, and they're actually people who are interested and don't ask silly questions and don't have weird hangups, and who come in and actually can start to duplicate. Guys, imagine if your team's doing this. Imagine if you demonstrate this and you model this, and now you've got others duplicating this. Can you imagine the compounding effect that also has? Then you can add other things on top of it. Marketing funnels coming out. We'll have other like co-op advertising opportunities, all kinds of things we can add on top of this, but have this as your base and demonstrate and model this and make sure your team's duplicating this. And you start to have a compounding, exponential, easy to duplicate process that gets you immersed in the attraction marketing benefit. So with that said, Jeremy, I'd like to connect with you really quick, because you started implementing this, and I don't know if I don't have the post up where you said it, but you had mentioned you got a really simple, easy sign up. Somebody came in without any questions or anything, and then they ended up signing up into your primary program, My Daily Choice, without any questions. Jeremy, share with us the process at which you recently went through, along the lines of messaging that you put out can have such a profound impact on the quality of prospects you have coming back, and then share a little bit about your recent results.
Okay, sure. So part of it was just this perspective shift that I went through, trying to understand what I was doing versus what I should be doing. So we had a lot of conversations about how, marketing is not the funnel. It's only a piece of it, and that what you're doing on Facebook, et cetera, is all, part of that. And that I should be posting the right types of content to attract the right people, like what you've been talking about. So before I started boosting a post, I knew I had to have a little bit of content on my page that was attracting the right types of people, so that when I did a boosted post, they would see that I was, talking about the right things as well. And it just so happened that when I put out a couple of the posts that you had mentioned, one of them was the one about how our team has made, the 8,000 Ethereum so far in a short amount of time, et cetera. And in this particular case, it was somebody that I've worked with in the past, not from a business standpoint, but literally worked in my job. And it's somebody who I considered a great person and a great person to have in this business, but I just hadn't had time to talk to him yet. Well, by making that post that gave information about what we're doing, he reached out to me and said, hey, I'd like some more information about this. Can you tell me what you're doing? I shared the community video that we use and a webinar, and he came right back and said, hey, can we get started on Thursday? We just set up a meeting to help him get his Ethereum and help him get started. And I answered a few, questions as they came up, but for the most part, it was a very simple process. And then because the way my profile was set up, it also led to my primary company, which is My Daily Choice, and he ended up going there and eventually purchasing a, director pack and getting involved in that as well. So in this case, it was somebody that I knew and had every intention on talking to, but just hadn't yet. I just hadn't had time to reach everybody that's in my contact list. And the other interesting thing is, even my father is now talking to me about cryptocurrency, somebody that I never expected to even think about it or look into it. And it's not as a business person, but I was afraid of what my friends would think if I posted this type of content. I was one of those people who most of the people that I'm connected to on Facebook were friends, old high school contacts, old college contacts, people that I know, the friends of my kids' friends, or the parents of my kids' friends, right? People that were in scouts, etc. So I was like, I don't really have business people on my page. So when you told me, well, if you post the right things, you will, I said, okay, I'm going to try it. So I put out a couple of the posts, and that's exactly what's happening. So now some of those people that I just haven't gotten to are reaching out to me. Now I have a little bit of content there. I'm able to boost some posts on my my business page. And even sooner than I expected, there are new people, new contacts that I never knew them beforehand. But because that post was boosted and it was the right kind of people, they're reaching out saying, hey, how do I get started? Which is pretty cool.
And you just started this process.
Yeah, literally just a week and a half ago, when the epiphany went off, when I finally kind of understood that my Facebook is my office, not the place that I talk about what's going on in my life.
Right, exactly. It's such a powerful tool for this. Yeah, thanks for sharing that, Jeremy. It's awesome to see you getting these results, and it's very early. It just compounds. I'm sure you can imagine. It just compounds. And it gets to the point, guys, where you literally will have way too many really good prospects reaching out to you than you could ever just process. That's what it becomes. And Jason, can you speak to that? I know that if you just put a little bit of content out, you also are just overwhelmed because of this attraction marketing concept. I think a lot of people look at you and they go, oh yeah, but you do Facebook Lives. Guys, I want to say again, I don't, or I rarely do. I didn't ever have to. That's not what it is. It's the messaging that's attracting a certain people, whether you deliver it on video or you deliver it on posts, it's the messaging. Like, go ahead, Jason.
It's what you're in alignment with. It's what you love doing. I love, how Mike says like he's not dynamic and he doesn't like speaking. That's like my number one passion in all of life. Throw me a microphone, any stage in the world, any audience, I'm in, like with no notice. That's my favorite thing in the world. And so Facebook Lives are like my favorite thing. But also I love that Mike shared that, because so many people think you have to do video. You don't have to do anything. You just, besides get word out there. And
word out, yeah.
Perry Marshall talks this racking the shotgun. So if you're in, he gives this metaphor of like, if you're in some like underground club or something, you want to pay attention to who hears that under the table, a shotgun being racked, who's paying attention. And whoever doesn't pay attention, those are the suckers. That's where you go take their money, you play poker against them. They're all because they're not aware of the environment. Jeremy James racked the shotgun on his page by putting some posts out, and look what happened. He did have some business-minded people that were there, but he didn't know that up until that point. And so it's really, and I'll share also, I learned so much just soaking things in, just like being around Mike and all of you, and reminders of like, oh man, like I actually haven't done any promotional posts for weeks. And all of a sudden I'm like, hey, I should probably post something that talks about what I'm doing. Because I have all these good friends who are like, dude, what do you, I heard so-and-so's making all this money. And I was like, oh, you don't know what we're doing? I thought you got the email from 40 days ago. You didn't read the email I sent 40 days ago. You didn't put the post from that. Like, so people hardly see anything you're doing. And so that's another thing as far as posting on Facebook is like, well, what are they going to think about me? Most people don't think about you at all. They're only even seeing your stuff if they're messaging with you or if you're engaging on their stuff. And so most people you're concerned about, first of all, they wouldn't come to your funeral. Second of all, they're not even seeing what you're doing anyway. So just do it. And that holds me back in the past significant amount. What would they think about me? Do they like me? Do they like me? That was my primary question I ran around asking. And it's really about just getting some things out there. And it doesn't really matter if my sponsor or my upline in my other company likes it. It doesn't really matter if my mentor from 10 years ago likes it. Mm-hmm. It doesn't matter if my mom and dad like, oh my God, Jason dropped an F-bomb. Sometimes I do that on purpose. I'm trying to see who gets triggered by this. Good. I don't want to work with them. Like I don't want, now I don't run around doing that, but there are specific things I do. I want free flowing, go at the flow. You're going to hear from Derek later. Derek's like my best friend. I want like an army full of people. Like you'll see his energy flow, and Mike's and Jeremy. And so,
Jason, if I could, so put the message out that attracts the people that allow you to live the life you want to live. Don't filter your message, right? Don't suppress a message because you're worried about people liking you, not liking you, or judging you, or that kind of stuff. Put a message out that allows you to attract the people into your life that support the vision and the results you want to create, and that creates a collaboration with people that want some of the same things, so you can have fun making a lot of money. Because when you do it that way, it gets easy.
And I can say it's very freeing too. Like I always felt like I was living this double life, or this secret life as a network marketer, online marketer. You know, I had to keep it separate from what I was doing. And, you know, I have my corporate job, and I don't want to, you know, mess that up. Now there's so many, you know, if you're looking at jobs, they look at your profile and they see what you're posting. You know, are you a negative person? Are you a business-minded person, et cetera? So it can actually help. But I always felt like I was leading this double life. Now I'm leading the life I want to live. I'm just putting out there, hey, here's what I'm doing, and following in the footsteps of people like Mike and Jason, and being transparent. You know, you document what you do, and others will follow, you know. And I just realized everything Mike posts, every comment Mike puts on has purpose, that he's not just talking to us. There's a purpose to it. Every video that's put out has a marketing message in it, just in case there is somebody coming to that content and looking behind the scenes. How does he lead his team?
Absolutely.
And, you know, there's some marketing in there. Every once in a while, he'll stop and he'll say, oh, by the way, let's reiterate some of this. And he adds in marketing content for the people that are taking a sneak peek at our team trainings and our behind the scenes videos.
Guys,
just understanding that.
You can download this video, upload it to your YouTube channel, and then, you know, put a little text underneath it saying, you know, this is my team. If you want to work with us, you want to find out more about how we're making money in crypto, let me know. And you'll start attracting really quality people leveraging these kinds of videos. Go ahead, Jeremy. I just wanted them to understand that. I don't know that they do.
Yeah, no, and that was exactly what I was just trying to point out, is that idea of just being transparent and showing here's what I'm doing as I'm doing it is marketing. That was one of the light bulbs that had not gone off for me until a little while ago.
Absolutely. Because, you know, put yourself in people's shoes who are actually good prospects. I think a lot of you way too often that are struggling, I'm speaking to those who are struggling, you're struggling because you're putting yourself in the shoes of the wrong prospects, because that's all you've seen so far, because you're putting out messaging that attracts the wrong prospects. And then you're saying to yourself, I don't know what to say when I have somebody say I'm interested, or I don't know what to say. It's like you don't know what to say because you're talking to the wrong prospects. When the right prospects come to you, it's so freaking easy. It's just everything just flows and works because they actually want the opportunity. And you'll attract the right so put yourself in the shoes of the right prospect. And imagine you had loaded this video that we have right now to your YouTube, and you put under there, you know, hey, this is my team and we're doing awesome things. And if you want to check out, how we're making a lot of Ethereum right now in this incredible smart contract, new opportunity space, go here. You know, obviously the right prospect's going to like the sound of that. Any prospect that happened upon this video, will it be a huge number of people? No, because that's really niche. There's not a lot of people that would relate to this content. But the few that do are fantastic prospects who build huge teams. And I've attracted a lot of them because I've understood that from the beginning. I put out everything, knowing that stuff like even this content right here, where we're talking to our team, is going to appeal to a very small percentage of very upper echelon, awesome prospects. And you guys can use this content the same way. So thanks for that, Jeremy. We're going to interview two people today that are doing really well with their own methods, Kim Davis and Derek Henney. Before I do that, though, I wanted to come back to this advanced post that I said, this is advanced, we'll come back to this, that I'd forgotten about. So when I read this to you, two things I want you to think about. One, why does this attract really good prospects? And two, and how? And two, how would you rewrite this? How would you rewrite this? Because you might read things like this and go, but I can't say that because I didn't have the success you did, Mike. So I want to help you with that. It's really simple, actually, because you're on our team. So let me just read it first. I posted, because I was talking to somebody today that's in another cryptocurrency program, and he said he made 165 grand on his first day of launching it. So I go, a friend of mine shared with me this morning, he made 160.
Mike, we don't see your screen.
Oh, sorry.
We
Here we
see, yeah, there you go. There you go.
A friend of mine shared with me this morning, he made $165,000 his first day in a new cryptocurrency smart contract launch this month. That's about what I made my first day with a different program I helped launch this month as well. In fact, there's a lot of people making a lot of money right now in the cryptocurrency and smart contract opportunity space, but you're not going to make good money hopping from one program to another. Do you guys hear like a common theme? Who do I want to attract? People who don't jump from one program to another. So that's why I put that out there a lot. If you don't want to attract people who jump from one program to another, you want to put that messaging out there too. You need to settle in and learn how to attract high quality prospects to you so you're attracting the right kind of person interested in these opportunities. Imagine if you put that message out there, guys, you start attracting people who are like, you know what? I want to learn how to attract people. You started getting people who duplicate. You start getting people who see the value of what you offer. People who don't ask silly questions. See, I put the messaging out there so I don't attract people who ask silly questions. You see what I mean? You literally get what you state. It's wild. But who get where we're at now in the world and who understand now is the time to act. Why do I attract people who understand where we're at in the world and that now is the time to act? I wonder. I'm doing a webinar today. Okay, so how would you rewrite this? And by the way, look, I just posted this 2 hours ago. It's going to have a ton of engagement, even though it's very niche, which is interesting. It's very niche. And I wouldn't even expect this to have even nearly that many. Now, a lot of them are in our community, granted, but initially they weren't. It starts somewhere. And it's the few who aren't, like a lot of these aren't. Look at the comments. It's only been 2 hours, so this will grow. Info, please. You are a boss. And by the way, I know he's extremely successful in the smart contract industry, not in our community. Jerry West, Mike, can I get more information? I don't know this person. Very interesting. I just liked it. I didn't even follow up. I wouldn't follow up with that. He didn't ask for me to follow up, so I'm not gonna. But he might follow up with me again in 3 weeks with another post and say, hey, because he kind of wants me to here. He wants to make me chase. Mm-hmm. They do that subconsciously so they can say no because they see you're too eager. They're like, oh, something must be wrong. So I never pursue on a very interesting comment, and you shouldn't either. You just like it. You say, it sure is. Yep. That's part of the prospecting process, but he needs to come to me. And you guys want to position yourself the same way. This person, please send me more info. I will reach out to that person because they asked me to. So how do you write a post like this that seems pretty experience oriented, right? In your own way. So you could say, a friend of mine, which is me, shared with me this morning that he made 160 grand on his first day in this new cryptocurrency smart contract launch we did this month. And then he shared that a friend of his made about the same in another cryptocurrency smart contract. All caps, wow. Now, the next line that you could infuse could be about you and your success if you've had any. If you hadn't, you would just continue. If you did have some success, you'd say, I've also enjoyed earning Ethereum with these new cryptocurrency smart contracts. Now, if you haven't made any Ethereum, you leave that part out. It's not going to make that big of a difference. It would just continue on. And you would say, there's a lot of people making tons of Ethereum right now with these smart contracts in the opportunity space. And you could take it a different direction. You could just kind of rewrite it. But it's not hard to take anything and everything that you see me putting out there and adapting it to be your own and attracting the right people to you in the process, or other leaders in this community who are putting out this kind of content that's either speaking to those that are vested into personal development and personal responsibility and success, opportunities, marketing, or cryptocurrency. This obviously falls into the cryptocurrency opportunity space. Any of those themes, if there's any leaders in this community or anywhere that you see who is posting stuff under those themes, you can take those without having to create it yourself, without having to have had the experience and insight yourself, and you just modify it slightly, make it your own, like I just shared. And if you're posting that, you're going to start attracting really amazing prospects. And when you do that, the conversation's different, the whole experience is different. So it's not knowing about what to say when you have a prospect or what to do. It's about putting out the right message that they'll naturally be attracted to. That's how you start making this easy. Add the boost post feature on the Facebook business page, and it speeds this up. Be a little patient, give it a few weeks to start working. Be consistent. We'll start having more follow-up trainings. We'll interact with you guys, see what you're posting, and have some powwows. But guys, this is the track. This is the way. This is the baseline of attraction marketing. There's things that we can do and add on to this, like the marketing funnels that are coming. But if you're not doing this, marketing funnels aren't very effective. You need to have something so that your best prospects who are coming through a funnel, who want to check you out, come to your page and see stuff like this. I'm like, yeah, I definitely want to connect with this person, because the messaging will speak to them. And then the whole thing starts to change really, really fast. So let's go ahead and bring on our guests. I wanted to bring on a couple of people that it's a little bit different than this conversation, although we may move into this with them. I'm just going to have a candid discussion with them because they're having success kind of doing it their own way. Let me start with Derek. You out there? Derek Hinney?
Yo,
hey,
hello.
Derek, how you doing, man? Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me. Thanks,
Absolutely.
Mike.
So Derek,
Appreciate
let's just start with, Jason had told me that you were having some really good success recently with this opportunity on a scale you haven't really seen previously.
Yeah.
First of all, is that correct? And do you, if it is it because of the opportunity, or is it because something you're doing differently, or a little bit of both?
I guess a little of a bunch. I dipped out of the industry like 2 years ago, and really wasn't inspired about anything. And Jason called me up and told me he basically told me to get in, and I just took his word for it. And I kicked back the first month. I was kind of just watching it all, was just observing. But I got excited because I saw so many people that were making profits, which is unlike a lot of things we've done in the past. And at that point, I caught fire again. I haven't had a fire like this in like 2 years. So super stoked. Really what I'm doing, Mike, really, I look at you and Jason and other marketers I know, and I see what they're writing, and I write something similar.
Yeah.
And
So
you've
been doing this. You're basically modeling what you're seeing is working, and not having to recreate the wheel then.
Yeah. Yeah. You guys inspire me, and then I put my own words to it, and I just hop out there, and I'm not 24/7 talking ETH and, get
right.
in and all that stuff. A lot of what I'm doing, and I haven't even gone to my business page at all. A lot of it's just on my Facebook page and reaching out to people in my network that I know have some financial acuity and like to make money and are in business. So those are the types of people I'm talking to.
Right on, man. And so for those that, and we're going to have guests on future sessions too. And I want you guys to hear from different voices and different people and what they're doing. Now, a lot of you will have different experience than Derek, and may not have past opportunities you've worked with, but Derek, you have, right? So you have some people in your contacts list that you kind of know, that that they're interested. So you can kind of reach out to them, and it's a natural reach out.
Yeah. Really just a handful of people I reached out to. Other than that, like, I'm really just trying to attract people. I mean, people are reaching out to me that I didn't even know were in my Facebook anymore. But I think it's a type of, like you were saying, it's a type of posts. I'm talking about small business again. I'm talking about inspiration. I'm talking about team building. And then I hit them with some, I'm I'm really following a lot of crypto now. So I'll talk a lot about crypto, but I'm not pitching all the time.
And
Maybe
so
out
you-
of
so you
10
have-
posts, one pitch.
You have people, right? Perfect. You have people reaching out to you, though, saying, "What's going on? I'm interested. Tell me more about it." Right?
Yeah. Yeah. And it's just because I'm consistently every day out there talking about things that inspire me. Or a lot of times I'm just being goofy too. I'm kind of, I like comedy.
I wanted to say that. So Mike, it would be awesome if you go to Derek's page. Like Derek totally throws in funny memes and all kinds of stuff. He absolutely is himself and has a unique style. I don't know if I've ever seen someone market like he does, but he doesn't care. He's having fun. That's why it works, because he's having fun. And
Yeah. Let's take a look at it. What is it? What's the profile? Slash.
What is my profile? Derek Henny. It's just my regular personal page, really.
It's DEREK, right?
Oh yeah, actually, type in Henthorn. My real name is Henthorn. HENTHORN.
Wait,
Wait, say it again.
Derek.Henthorn, HENTHORN.1.
Is that what it is? I didn't know that.
I just looked it up.
That's okay.
Is that your right one? Or is that old page?
No, that's my right one.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm goofing around most of the time, but a
But
lot
it's
of my
still within
network
context. It's still within
Yeah.
context. Like you say, it's all perspective, which
Yeah.
I would count that under the theme of personal development and personal growth.
Sure.
And you might have fun with it, but
Yeah.
it's still the same thing. And that's, you can go as far as making it your own as you want, and you're making it very
Yeah.
much your own.
Yeah.
More often than not in life, it's easy to fall into the lane of only working that hustle muscle. However, it's also important to step away from the grind. So, again, this is about life balance, which falls into personal development. So, very good. So, and I'm just looking for anything that falls under a different category. You're doing a lot of
Sure.
those. You're not
Yeah.
making, so here's one that's more along the opportunity side. You're not making freedom money till you're earning money when you're not working. So, that falls into the opportunity line.
Yeah.
So there's your joke. I'll slide by that one.
Yeah.
No, and
I
here's-
kind of throw it all out there. I don't care.
No, it's good. You guys got to bring you to it. Wow, fam. That bear crypto market that CNN was reporting was rough. So now we're appealing to people who like crypto. So, you guys can take this a lot of different directions to have fun with it and make it your own, or if you're not sure how to do that yet, guys, you just take what you see that we're creating along these themes and just rewrite it a little bit so that Facebook doesn't see it as duplicate content. So you can be as creative as you want to, or keep it as simple as you want to. But Derek, this is awesome. You're literally doing it. Anything you'd want to say, Derek, to anybody who's like, oh, it's just going to take forever, like for me to learn all of this, like, all these limiting beliefs that people bring to the table, even though we're making it extremely simple. I know that some people are still thinking that. Anything you want to say to them?
I would just say, so 2 months ago, I was totally in that space. I wasn't looking to do anything. I got excited about it, and I'm just consistently get out there. I follow trends and things on Twitter and get inspiration from those things, and I'll pop in here and I'll write something similar. And as you do that, as you're consistently kind of like staying in your what you want to talk about, people will start to reach out to you.
Yeah.
And it's not going to happen overnight. It's a consistent thing. It's not like 10 posts today and kick back for a week and wait for everyone to reach out to you. No, it's like, it's every day. So you get in a rhythm and just go.
Yeah.
I'm having more fun than I have in years.
That's awesome, man. Derek, thanks for coming on and sharing
Thanks, guys.
And Derek, you making ETH? You've been making ETH?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's another thing, Mike. And I'm kind of bold, and I don't always do this on my page, but behind the doors, if I am talking to someone that I perceive as, pretty high level, And, you know, I'll reach out to them. They're like, oh yeah, they shoot me this stuff. And if I don't hear from them, I'll reach back around in 2 weeks and I'll snap a picture of my profits. And people, that'll get their attention.
Yeah.
And if you don't have the profits yet, snap a picture if you're, and I'm not saying do this out in public because, you know, obviously there's some things there when you do that, but behind the scenes, if you're talking to someone, you can show them what you or what your guys have done with this. And it's a really special opportunity.
It's awesome, man. Derek, thank you so much. And I can't wait to have you on again in a couple of months. We'll check in with you and see
Right
how
on.
you're doing. Thanks.
Thank
Appreciate
you all.
it.
Thanks everyone.
All right. And let's bring on Kim Davis. Kim's doing something a little bit different with Facebook groups. I want her to talk about that. I want you guys to see these different methods that people are using. Kim's been having some success with the groups. Kim, you out there?
Yeah, I'm here, Mike. You can see that Derek already has the right mindset, right? That every day, just keep going, just keep moving.
Absolutely.
I like that.
Absolutely.
I like that.
So Kim, kind of share with people, what gave you the idea to create a group to use for prospecting?
Because in our local community is what I use it for. So I created the group, and
by the way, I want to go to the group right now. Can you give me the URL?
It's the $50 club.
And do I just? I can't remember. Do groups have group in the headline, or is it facebook.com/
Facebook.com group.
Yeah. And then /$50 club.
$50 group.
$50 group. Can you go ahead and take a look at that URL? I just want people to see it while we're talking about it. It's not coming up.
Okay. That's because it's private, maybe.
Oh, okay. Well, that's okay.
I'll put it in the chat. You want it in the chat?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I don't know if you want people in there because it might mess up your prospecting. You know what I mean? It's up to you. You might be busy with a bunch of people not in your team. So let's just go ahead and share with them. So you created a group called $50 group.
Yeah.
And what gave you the idea to do that? Like, how did you know that was gonna work? Have you done that before?
I've done a lot of within my community. I've done a lot of local things with small businesses. I've been doing online marketing stuff for quite some years, and I started in one kind of aspect, and then I put that down to go help the local businesses, which I did for about 4 years, to bring them, kind of up to speed online with their businesses in our community. And then I was the website administrator for 2 of the biggest community groups of small business owners.
So what made you think this would work for this, to have a group for prospects to come to?
Because I felt that I know a lot of people that are entrepreneurs out there in our community. And the only way that I could reach all of them was to create a group. Because
for you as a place to kind of consolidate the process.
Yes.
So, okay, cool. So, and if I understand correctly, it's not just a place that you send your prospects, you let your team send their prospects there as well?
That's right. Right. So that's what I asked them to do. So it takes away the discomfort of people thinking that they have to go out and, make their list of 100 people and go talk to 100 people and, recruit 100 people. And I asked them, when you join our group, to just invite your Facebook friends to our group and let the group do its thing, have them look around in the group. And if it's there to plant the seed and to pique interest in the people who might be interested in, if they're their friends, and then they'll come back and make a comment on one of the posts, or they'll come back to the person that invited them there and express some interest. So it's just kind of an easier way to get to more people. In my community, I know that there are a lot of networking people out there, and there are some people who have good potential to be leaders. And so if I do this in my community and attract those leaders, then I can count on those leaders to look after the people in my community, and then I can expand into the online marketing space. And some of them can come with me too.
Yeah, perfect. And so how's it working? I know you've been making ETH, right? You did pretty well with the X Gold launch because you've got a good team that started from this, but you're making ETH, right?
Yeah, I think I'm about 20. I've made about 20 ETH. So about
Wow,
20 grandish,
that's awesome.
which
That's
is pretty
awesome.
good. Since
It's
the
really
middle of
good. It's
October.
really good. And we're just getting started. That's fantastic. And
Yeah.
you've got team members making ETH as well?
I do. And I have team members helping each other. We're doing a bit of the stacking, you know, to get, you know, maybe 4 or 5. Yeah, about 4 or 5. And then I tell them go, you know, start another leg to get themselves going with their own people.
So I'd love for people to be able to look at your group to get an idea of what it looks like, because maybe they have no idea. At the same time, I don't want you to be overwhelmed with a bunch of people that so it's up to you. Is that a link that you want to put out in the group, or would you rather?
Well, I just put the link in the Zoom chat.
Okay, cool. So people can take a look at that. Awesome. Thanks for that.
And
To look at, so talk about the content that you put there and talk about, you know, you've heard us talking about the messaging today. And I know that's something you and Jeremy started working on, kind of tweaking your messaging to attract people that might take more responsibility for their success, right? Aren't just looking for a handout, but a hand up. We want to talk a little bit about the messaging and then maybe a little bit of that shift that you're starting to make in the messaging you put out.
right. I don't, in that particular group, I don't want it overwhelming with all kinds of information. So I put a start here video, basically an announcement, and start here with this video. And then I give a few steps underneath that. And so there are a few testimonials on there from some of the groups. And there's, I think, two webinars on there. Yeah, 2 webinars on there. And I put myself at the beginning of those videos so that I can explain what's going to be said. But as far as that goes, I don't post a lot of content to it. I don't post a lot of updates to it every day because I don't want it to be overwhelming. I already see that, you know, the very first post that I did put out there, like you know, the 6-minute video that we have and the income disclaimer, like they don't get many views because now they're buried.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't want a lot of information on there. I just want enough to plant a seed, to pique some interest, and get back to the person that sent you here.
Perfect. Perfect.
Yeah.
And what suggestion would you have to somebody who's never created a group before? I mean, for me, it would be go to YouTube and type in click by click video on how to set up a Facebook group, and you're going to find them, right?
Yeah, how to set up a Facebook group for sure. I constantly tell people that YouTube is your absolute best friend. And go there and look for everything. You will find just about everything you ever wanted about anything. Go there and look, as opposed to constantly leaning on somebody else. How do you do this? How do you do that? How do you do this? And like Google it, right? So, you know, you can start a group for your own, you know, your own local people, your own network. You can start a group with that. You can do the same thing. You can populate it with a little bit of curiosity, information or content.
Kim, what do you mean by your own local network?
Well, for my community, my own local network is my friends and the people I know in this community. People, yeah.
So when you first set up the group, did you put a post out on your profile, for example, letting them know about the group and kind of inviting them in?
No, I just I created the group and there's an invite button there, and I just hit invite. And I tell people don't invite more than 25 to 30 people a day, because then you get in Facebook jail.
Great, but they let you out of jail, right? If you do too many.
Yeah,
but,
in about 24 hours.
If you invite too many people with their automated invite button,
yeah.
Because once this, for people that don't know, I'll slow that down a little bit. So she created the group, and then there's a little invite button, and Facebook lets you invite people systematically, really quick and easy, just by clicking by their name. But Kim's saying if you do more than 25 at a time, Facebook will say, you're going too fast. We're going to disable it for a few hours or something. You don't get in big trouble, or you don't actually go to jail.
No, I just call it Facebook jail.
No, I know. I do. Yeah. I just want people to understand that it's not like a big deal if you get penalized. It's just a short-term pause on that. Then you can invite again. But so that's a great tip. 25 invites and then pause a little bit, then 25 more. Very easy then to invite people in. And any tips at all on like there's a description that you have in the group, right, that describes what it's about? I'm assuming you just kind of gave a short little synopsis of what the group was going to be about, and
And I don't even remember what I said there. I'd have to go look.
Yeah, and they got the link so they can check it out.
Yeah.
And then you don't post very much content. You post a little bit here and there. You add the webinar replays that we do and stuff, and then you let your team that have come in through this process, you let them also invite their prospects there.
That's right. I encourage them to do that. And I do kind of gear it a little bit to Canadians just because the pricing is all different.
Yeah.
Right? So, but I have said to, people on the team, like some upline people, I've said, yes, you can invite your members as well.
Excellent.
So it doesn't matter to me how many people are in the group. If they're invited to the group, it tells me who joined the group, so I know who they're attached to.
Perfect.
So if that person expresses interest, then I know who to go back to say, hey, your person is expressing interest.
Excellent. Excellent. And then about messaging, I know that you and Jeremy have been working a little bit on tweaking the messaging to attract maybe a higher caliber prospect. You want to speak a little bit about that?
Yeah, that's kind of like I don't know. I think it's completely separate from what I'm doing, because once I do the online marketing part of it, I won't be directing people to that group. So
when you talk about the online marketing part of it, how is that different from the group?
Because for me, the group is for my local, my network, my local area.
So that was a way for you to connect with your friends list, people that knew you already or followed you already.
Yes.
And then when you start reaching out to people who you don't know, Facebook posts and stuff, you won't use the group for that. You'll use a different process.
Right. I'll attach all that to my actual website.
And when you say website, what do you mean?
I have my own website, like my kimdavis.ca.
Gotcha. Okay.
So I will attach all the online marketing and the funnel and everything that comes about. I will attach all of that to direct them to my website. And then that's where I can collect email addresses and start my own list, sort of thing. Right?
So if you wanted to model what Kim was doing, if you're trying different ideas, she's suggesting, or at least what she did was set up a group, a Facebook group, use the invite button, because Facebook has that built in to invite the people that were already in her, network, so to speak, and then use that group to foster that and encourage those that came in to do the same thing. She's keeping it just closed to that circle, so it has a certain community feel. And then any additional marketing she does to people outside of who she knows and who they know, she's going to do a little bit different process with them. So for those that aren't sure what direction to take and you want to try setting up a group, go to YouTube, search in how to set up a group and start to model that method. Sounds like it's working really, really well, and it can kickstart things because you got that little invite button that Facebook gives you to make it really, really easy to invite people in. Kim, anything else you want to say to anybody that is maybe new to the process? Like, well, Kim sounds like she has all this experience, to make it, to help them realize that you don't need to have a lot of experience to manage a group.
Yeah, you don't. I just to sum it up, I would just create a group, YouTube, how to do that. Just put a little bit of content in there about our what's happening on our team. Some, it can be some posts from Mike. It can be some videos, about the webinars, and always put a disclaimer, income disclaimer in there, because I do post a lot of times, and the people in the group do as well, what we earned or that we got Telegram dings that day. So always make sure there's an income disclaimer in there. So you only need, probably 4 or 5, maybe picture posts, and then maybe 2 or 3 videos. If you can do video yourself and just give people a purpose of why you invited them to the group to let them know on video, that's great. If you can't do that, then make an announcement post and just put the purpose of why you invited them to that group. And then just start with your friends. And if anybody expresses interest, you just ask them to invite their friends. It just makes it simple and easy, that nobody's forced to go out there and run around and conquer, 100 people each.
Very, very good. Kim, thanks so much for sharing, and we'll check in with you again in one of the future calls and see how things are evolving, especially with some of the outside marketing you're going to start doing. Appreciate you being here.
Can I tell you one thing that I would not do?
Yeah,
Again,
please.
I did call it the $50 group, but when I first started, I was going to call it the $30 group because we could get in at $30. And you know, in the summertime, they were getting in for $12.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to change my mind on that and change it to the $50 group. Well, now I've had to change it to the $100 group. And just even in the last week, I've had people that can't get in anymore for $100. Like, this is Canadian. And even at $150 this past week, they could only get X3 and X4. They couldn't get into the gold with $150. So don't put a price, a dollar amount on it. So now I have to go and change all that. And I have to change,
because Ethereum is going to keep going up. So pretty soon it's going to, that's the whole point, right?
Yeah. So don't do that.
Awesome. Great tip. Good.
Okay.
Good. Thank you, Kim. Really appreciate it.
You're welcome.
So guys, you know, we want to continue to have these sessions to keep teaching simple, duplicatable methods for attraction marketing so you can attract high quality prospects to you. We also want to have on guests who are doing things their own way, a little bit differently than what I might be doing, what Jason, Jeremy might be doing, what leaders that you're working with might be doing. So you can see and not only have you be able to try those things, but your team be able to try some of those methods, because some people are going to prefer different methods over others that just work really well for them. Before we close out, and I know this went longer than I planned, but there was a lot to cover, right? We're talking about, you know, making 50 grand, 100 grand, some of you 500 grand or more this year in Ethereum and riding this rocket ship. So, you know, an hour and a half, 2 hours to be able to get it drilled down so you could do that. I think it's definitely worth it. Let's go ahead and end on the conversation of what you guys can go away with to start attracting these high quality prospects like I and so many others have been able to enjoy doing. That makes it so much easier to be able to make that ETH and to help other people make that ETH. Again, I want to bring your attention to the cash injection group. You can talk to the person who referred you here for a link to that. You should all have access to that. And I'm showing you posts. I'm showing you everything I talked about today. We're talking about the boost post ads. And again, if you ever need help on what to do, you go to YouTube and you type in something like, show me a click-by-click tutorial on how to set up a Facebook boost post ad. You know, and if that doesn't bring up the perfect thing, you just change that search a little bit. It doesn't take long before you find a perfect tutorial on this kind of simple universal knowledge stuff. Yeah, so really easy to apply that. Everything you need is in the cash injection group as far as guiding you. Follow our pages, start modeling our message in your voice or your way, or just change the words a little bit so it's your own, and you'll start attracting really good prospects. Boost your post to speed it up. That's the baseline. We're going to come out with marketing funnels. Don't wait for it. You can start applying these things before the marketing funnel's here. If you do, the marketing funnel will be 10 times, maybe even 100 times more effective. It's extremely important that you have this baseline attraction messaging up before the marketing funnel's out. You get a little bit of momentum. So when the marketing funnel's coming out and you got leads coming in, when they check you out, they're seeing messaging that jives. Because if they check you out and they don't see that, you just wasted a phenomenal opportunity that the marketing funnel created. But because you didn't do these simple little things, it died right there. So do these things now. When we release the marketing funnel, you'll be in momentum and you'll get 10 to 100 times more out of that marketing funnel, which is a lot. Let's now end with a discussion about that messaging. Jeremy, I'm going to come back to you because you mentioned that you had kind of a bullet list. And if you could just kind of take time making sure there was some things that you wanted to hit today, I wanted to make sure that you had the space to really make sure that they understood the value of what you had for them today.
Yeah, so I was just looking through the bullet list, and I think we pretty much covered all of that information, other than one of the things that I thought of while Derek was talking actually was about the being consistent in your posts. And one of the things that I found to do that, because I still have a full-time job, I still, have a lot going on. So I've, to be transparent, had a hard time with consistency. But I found that on my page, when I'm putting the information on the page, you can schedule your posts. So I can schedule a post to go out during the day while I'm working. and have it go out during a time that, you know, other people will see it, instead of waiting until, you know, 11 o'clock at night when I have a minute to work on something, and that's not a great time to post the information. So I just figured I'd mention that to everybody.
And if you
And
guys
only-
don't know how to do it, you go to YouTube and you type in, how do I schedule a post on Facebook? And you'll have a little video that pops up that shows you exactly how to do it.
Yeah. And then I just wanted to share a couple of other, you know, epiphanies in our conversations, which is to worry about the leaders. You know, one of the things that I've been doing way too much is focusing on people that I want them to do well more than they want to do well themselves. So, you know, I thought it's a good idea to just bring up the idea that if you're working with the leaders, then you're going to end up having a lot more traction, and you can always loop back and help the people that need some help. And that
Otherwise, you'll be emotionally and physically exhausted, and they will pull your mindset down to where you can't function anymore. So yeah, it's extremely important.
Yeah, it was a very freeing idea to realize, hey, you know, let's work with the people that want to do well. Let's work with the people that are working it, and not spend too much time answering the same questions over and over, and, you know, helping them, you know, those that are not going out and Googling something to figure it out, and they want you to take them step by step, right? And then action beats training. You know, you have to do it to learn it. You know, just go out and make mistakes, go out and do some posts, and, you know, get the questions and get the crazy answers, and, you know, get the wrong people responding to your posts, but go out and do it. You know, just take action, and don't worry about, oh, I need more training, or I need to train my people more. Just show them what to do, be a leader, do it, and demonstrate what to do, as opposed to spending all your time just training.
Absolutely.
So that covers my list. So.
Fantastic. All right. Thanks for that. Now, dead on. Jason, any additional thoughts as we close out?
Yeah, I've had the trait, or maybe disease, of altruism most of my life, and I share that because I have a growing awareness of this since December 2010. I was at a seminar, and it keeps showing up again and again, months and years, so many times. And what I have had such a heart to serve others and humanity and I love teaching. So I tend to get in situations of teaching and pouring literally, I've spent $250,000 pouring personal development in. So I'll just pour it out into someone who's like, they're working a $15 an hour job, and they're totally not serious, and they don't care about crypto. They don't care about their life. They're not going anywhere. And I'm just pouring in the wisdom of the universe into them. And I've done that for so many decades, and I've spent so many thousands of hours with the wrong people. Mm-hmm. And here's what finally got me is that, what about sharing the same stuff with Mike and Derek and Jeremy and Kim and you guys that are taking the time out of your day, whether you're on the recording or live, you're actually here soaking this up. You're the people that I need to be investing in, not the person that I'm just excited to teach. And they're giving me lip service, but then they go out and over the coming hours, days, weeks, and months, they don't do anything. Mm-hmm. And that lesson has been my greatest lesson, and it's been showing up to me for a decade again. And now I'm far better today than I've been, but I hurt the whole team. So here's an example. I don't know if I said this in a chat, Mike, with you guys or not. I've shared this somewhere in the past day. It's just my life's a blur, and I love it. And I share the idea of, if I'm so worried about, taking care of my, I have like 5 or 6 icicles now. Oh, I better coddle this one, and this one needs some more love. And oh man, they haven't gotten some love for a while. And I may just very well end up not having the other 30 or 50 or 100 icicles of people who are going to go out and change the world, because they're never getting my energy and attention, because it's getting focused on someone who isn't maximizing with it. They're asking me the same question they were asking me a week ago. They're not looking on Google like they've heard at least 5 or 6 times on this. And so there's it doesn't change that my heart's here to serve humanity, but I realize I can impact far, far more people by focusing on who is receptive of this message, who am I pouring that time and energy into. And it does result in what Mike just said. There's nothing left for me. Like if I'm not paying for my own bills in my house, then I'm out in the street and I can't help anybody. If I'm not eating myself. And so if I'm not protecting my energy and my psychology and my time as well, there's only 168 hours in a week. And I can feel good all day long, just pouring dozens of hours into the wrong people. But all of a sudden it doesn't feel so good when there's someone who really needed my help and I just missed it because I was caught somewhere else. So that's a really big aha. And I love Mike is relentless with bringing up of like, is this even a question we should answer? Like something I remember hearing this years ago, this guy gave an example of his mentor was teaching him a marketing method, and the mentor is bringing in about one person a week. So 4 people a month. But this guy was like, I want your time. I want your time. And he couldn't get any of the mentor's time. And he was getting super frustrated. So he got pissed and he went to YouTube and he started just figuring out things on himself. So he starts growing, and this like a month or 2 goes by, and this guy's like cranking it. And suddenly the upline, the sponsor's reaching on him like, dude, what are you doing? You're bringing in a person a day. And this is crazy. And he had no idea that guy was only bringing in a person a week. And he would have never discovered this if he would have been babied. And if he would have had all the mentor's time and he would have got taught that other method, he would have never discovered the method that gets him 1 a day. And he became one of like the leading internet network marketers. He went a little crazy over time. A lot of you would know this person, but that's people on our teams. And if we're over mother henning them, I've been a mother hen for my whole life. If I mother hen the teams, I clip their wings and they never get to, when it's time to be pushed off the cliff, they just hit the ground. they never learn to fly because they can't, because they never got the opportunity. Because I'm like, oh, let me create a 20-minute step-by-step tutorial instead of saying, go Google it. GTS, Google that stuff. That's all you got to do. GTS. So that's the big, I think that summarizes a lot. Mike, does that hit some of the
Yeah,
stuff?
absolutely. I think that the theme here that I want you guys to leave with, and there was something I forgot to cover that I need to cover. It only take a minute before we go, guys. But to sum all that up, this is about attracting the right people. When you attract the right people on the front end with the right messaging, which we've made very easy to do, then you're going to attract the right people, and now everything flows. But it's also about maintaining the right culture. If someone's blaming, complaining, whining, over demanding of your time, and you don't call them out on it and you don't hold them accountable to it, but you bend to that, now you're wasting your time, you're demonstrating the wasting of time. And that's time that you can't spend, out there attracting someone who does it properly, who's not complaining, not whining. So now you're creating a culture of that. And now everything just dies. And then everyone blames you because you're the leader. So guys, you have to not just lead with the right message to attract the right audience, like we talked about today, and we've made very easy to do, but you also need to maintain the right audience and hold people accountable to the right mindset, to be action-oriented, to take personal responsibility for their success, to be contributing to the growth of the team. And when someone comes to you with the wrong mindset, you have to call them out on it, or just don't give energy to it if they're not responding properly to what the proper mindset is. You have to just exit. You have to have that discipline. You have to understand that you're really hurting people, not just yourself, but other people on the team, if you give to the wrong people and feed the wrong energy. And it doesn't mean people are being bad. It's just their mindset's off, right? A lot. That's why they're not financially abundant. And so you have to demonstrate it, and then you have to enforce it. And sometimes that means unplugging from them for a long while and focus on making good stuff happen. And then just share that, then have, come on a call like this and share with us what you're doing. And they can see that if they're committed. But if you want their success more than they do, there's nothing you can do to help them. All they can do is pull you down if you let them. Lead by example. Don't just focus on the message on the front end, but maintain the proper culture. And this thing starts to explode. You start to attract really good people, guys, really, really good people. They're out there, but you have to be free to invite them in. You have to have the time to connect with them. If you're wasting time with the wrong people that bring you down and aren't doing the right things or aren't taking action themselves, you're not going to have the freedom and the energy to attract that awesome team. Now, with all that said, I want to come back to something I'm going to show you really quick, and then we'll close this out. Jerry had reached out to me and she said, this is really important for those of you who don't know how to transition your profile page from, Aunt Betty and your friends in high school over to what you're doing. This is a post that she's making that I think will be useful for those of you to know how to transition the messaging, but still respect the fact that you've been talking to Aunt Betty and everybody else, on your page so far. So she wrote me and she goes, and she did this on her own, which is awesome. She wrote me, she goes, I put my opening post below because I wanted to see what you thought about it. My Facebook friends are mostly made up of relatives and people I actually do know. I've used it just as a consumer in a way to keep in contact. So it'll be odd to start talking business stuff. I needed a way to enter without seeming too salesy. So check it out. So she wants to be in integrity with who she is. They don't know her as this person who does this. And she just wants to be respectful of that in those relationships as she makes the transition. I honor that 100%. She goes, I needed a way to enter without seeming too salesy. So check it out and let me know what you think. Thanks. So here's what she wrote. And I think this is beautiful. And I think you can have more than one transitional post. I think this is something you can pepper in for a while. Every once in a while, checking in to the family in the high school, letting them know why you're doing what you're doing. And it starts with the first post. She goes, so now that I've been retired from the corporate world for 9 years, IKR, where did the time go? Not counting 2020, that deserves a place of its own. Time does go quickly, and before you know it, another year has passed. It's time to take stock and decide what I want my life to look like. Moving forward, I've decided that each year I want to seriously focus on learning something new. A much better idea than just letting life take me where it will and not having anything to show for it. This year's focus, marketing and creating an income, something I can do from home to supplement that retirement money. I'll post on my page just to have a record, and you can follow along if you like. So this is a fantastic contribution for those of you who need to know how to transition that page and still be yourself. I think it's awesome. And I wanted to share that with those of you that are in the same place, kind of Jerry is making that transition. I applaud Jerry. I applaud all of you who are making that transition of changing your message so you can start to use the tools at your disposal to create the life you want to live, to start to attract the people that you need in your life in order to live the life you deserve to live, and to demonstrate to others what they need to do to change their message, to change what they're thinking about, to change maybe who they're surrounding themselves with so they can live the life they deserve and want to live. We all have that sovereign right, and nobody, no corporation, no other company, no other upline, nobody should ever take that away from you. So guys, that's what this is all about. It's about defining what you want to attract into your life, making this so much easier, so much more fun. It's about the message that you put out there. Make it your own. If that's hard to do at first, if it's awkward, that's okay. You'll grow into it. We give you something to model. Make it your own the best you can. It will become your own over time if it needs to take time. But the key is to make that transition, because that's what you've got to do to live the life that you deserve and that you said you want. All right, guys, so it starts here. Thank you again, Jason, Jeremy, Kim, and Derek, and everybody else for taking the time to be here to make your life better, to demonstrate to others how to make their life better. We're going to do more of these. I want to pass on to you what has made my life, my kids' life, so much better, so much more profoundly better. I want to pass that on. So we're going to keep doing these until you get it, till you're on that track and you're living it, and then you're passing it on. Thanks again, guys. Have a fantastic rest of your day. And we'll do more of these. We'll see you soon.
Take care, guys.
Thanks, guys. Great one.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.
So much gratitude.
Thanks.
Awesome.
Thank you. This was great.
Awesome. Thank you.
Good
Thank you so much. Even though I'm working, I'm still listening. Awesome.
All right.
Thank you.